Roger, go for deploy.
Alrighty, here we are, guys. We are back, and we have, must be one of the only shows that I've ever gotten
Goosebumps.
Yeah, more than once, I think.
It's at this stage. It's definitely in my top 5 favourite shows.
It's in my top 5. It could be in my top 3.
Yeah,
I'd have to listen to it again. Maybe it might even be my number 1. But
yeah,
guys, we've got
it was unbelievable.
Tony Doherty for you today. Tony Doherty is a very inspiring guy. He owns 6 Doherty's gyms. He's kind of built himself into a recognisable worldwide brand. He's
Arnold's right-hand man.
He's Arnold's right-hand business partner with the Arnold Classic, touring around the world with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he's become really good friends with Arnold. But we didn't really get too much into that.
Nah.
We just got into how to strive and be successful in life, really.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
it was just
Sick.
A bunch of lines in there that are you could put on T-shirts or inspirational quotes, but from a real guy. So I've absolutely loved it. The show, guys, is brought to you by Audible. So Audible.
He's hating it.
Audible is I was actually hating it.
You were hating it.
Audible is it's been a long day. Audible is
Just relax, you
audiobook warehouse, guys, with over 50 titles. There's definitely over 50. I think there might be 60, 70 titles, and in fact, it's probably more than that. It's probably more than 70 titles.
Yeah, I'd say there'd be at least 72.
Yeah, I reckon at least 72 titles at Audible, something like that. And Audible's an audiobook warehouse. You can find any book that you want, and you can listen to it on the fly. So whether you're running, whether you're walking the dog, whether you're cleaning the house.
Whether you're...
What's that?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know? Whether you're...
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we know what's going on.
Yeah, that's right.
But, so, check it out, guys. Me and Tommy are big users of Audible. So, head to audibletrial.com /ADVF radio, and you'll get 1 free audiobook and a 30-day free trial. Definitely check it out. We're also brought to you by Sean Marsh, I believe, Tommy.
Yes. Well, we're not brought to you by Sean Marsh.
No, we're not.
We're brought to you by Quash Creative, guys, who is...
Sean
Quash, yeah. So Shawnee Marsh is a friend of the show's, and he has started Quash Creative, which is basically a freelance design firm. And if you go to him, guys, with anything, any sort of feedback or some ideas to set up a website, to set up a brand, or even if you just want to start a brand, he'll basically figure out the best way to help you out there, guys. Now, offer is, if you mention Adventure Fit Radio when you hook up with the dudes there, they will give you a free basic SEO report on your existing brand or some feedback as well. So head to www.quashcreative, that's QUARSH creative.com.au, and mention Adventure Fit Radio. Bill, Adventure Fit Travel.
We're also brought to you by Adventure Fit Travel, guys. We are selling Iceland, and it's going like hotcakes. So over the last week, we've sold another 4 tickets on Iceland, so we've only got a few tickets left. So if you want to get on board, guys, we're going to see the Northern Lights. We're doing the Golden Circle. We're going ice cave exploring, glacier walking, checking out Skogafoss, Golfoss waterfalls, the Black Beach in Vic, Jockle Carlson Glacier Lagoon. We're the Blue Lagoon in Reykjavik. We're literally doing the most amazing trip of Iceland you've ever seen. Check out the trip at www.adventuretravel.com. If you guys want to come along, it'll be 10% off if you use the code radio. Someone used the code this morning. Congratulations to whoever that was.
Chris Carrot.
Chris Carrot. And so anyway, we've also got New Zealand coming up. That's going to be released by the time this show will be out. We've got a mini Australia trip. We got Papua New Guinea coming for Kokoda next year, which has started to sell. So check out www.adventuretravel.com if you're ready for a holiday and you want to do it with like-minded people at all the best places in the world. Then, come with us. You won't regret it.
Without further ado,
here's Tony. All right, guys. So welcome back to Adventure Fit Radio. We're sitting here with the great man Tony Doherty today in Doherty's gym, the original Doherty's gym in Brunswick. Before we throw over and welcome Tony officially, we are going to start the show as usual with a little of Tommy's tribute.
Alrighty, welcome Tone. I thought I'd tribute you with Stairway to Heaven, also known as Stairway to Tone. So we'll see how we go.
Very nice.
very sensual. There's a man whose name is Tone. Some people say he's like Al Capone. All I wanna do is give him my bone. He started his own gym. Bill wants to show him his rim. I've seen it, and it looks like a fucking bin. Ooh, and his gym is a worldly success. Ooh, Doherty, thank you for giving us this access. Welcome aboard, mate. And please don't have a look at his rim.
Sorry about that, Tone.
So I was putting on my Snapchat while I was watching you idiots.
That's right. Yeah. I'll probably never get another follow in my life.
Tone, thanks for coming on the show, mate.
Happy to be here. It's taken us a while to get our shit together.
That's
we made
Keep
it.
that under wraps, mate. Keep that under wraps.
No,
I meant from when you first contacted me, not your clusterfuck setting up your equipment.
Yes. No, that's taken us a while. Good that we've sorted it out. But
True professionals.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Tony, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, mate, and your story, I suppose. Tell the listeners who you are.
Well, I'm probably a lot of things. I do a lot of different stuff. I guess I'm most well known for the gyms. I've got 6 gyms in Victoria and soon to go nationwide and hopefully worldwide, but we'll talk about that later. But so Doherty's Gym has been my life and passion for the last 20-something years. I moved to Melbourne in 1994 from a country town called Bendigo, where I grew up, and started it all. I was broke and didn't have much going for me at the time, but I've sort of stuck it out and built the brand up to be very recognisable worldwide. The other thing I do is I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger's business partner in the Arnold Classic. So I started out with an expo in Melbourne called FitX, which when Arnold finished being governor in 2011, he wanted to take his Arnold Classic worldwide and do one in each continent. So he started with Spain and then Brazil, and then he said the next country will be Australia. And, you know, I was hoping he'd choose me, and he did. And that was the most life-changing thing that ever happened. So I've done that 3 years now. And in doing that, we go to all of the Arnold Classics every year. So I get to travel with him at least 6 times a year in all the coolest places on earth.
Yeah.
Not a bad gig.
You know, in doing that, we've become good mates, and to have your idol become your mentor and your business partner and one of your closest mates is just surreal. So that takes up a lot of my time. So fits in with your travel theme, because I travel more than most. I think I had 12 international trips last year, and I think this year I'm already up to 5 or 6. So don't really stop travelling. And then the other thing I do is I do some public speaking, whether I'm emceeing events or doing my Relentless Momentum tours, which are a tour I do in every Australian capital city, just to inspire people to be their best. And people that follow my social media and get my message are the kind of people that just don't want to live a normal life and perhaps have been told that they should. And then someone like me comes along and goes, no, you can do it on your own terms. So I kind of try and empower people to do that. So that takes up most of my time. You know, I'm was married, but not now, but I've got 4 beautiful kids that I have every other weekend and see them fairly regularly. So, you know, very much a family guy. And that's about it. I mean, that's what I do, not who I am. But it's so it's always something different. I get bored really easy. So the guys in my upstairs office, I've got a few different offices here. So I've got ADD, and they call it Anthony Doherty disease, which means you can't concentrate for longer than about 5 minutes.
I didn't know it was named after you.
Huh?
I didn't know it was named after you.
Original disease.
Right.
Yeah, that's great.
And the funny thing is, I've sort of set myself up and set my world up so that actually works for me. So I can be, if I'm in the office and I do emails, for example, for an hour, and I get crazy computer, I can't do this, then I go out in the gym and do some PR and talk some shit with people, or have a coffee with a member, or have a meeting in the gym, or go to a coffee shop for a meeting or whatever else. Then if I get tired of that, then I'll go upstairs and hang out with my production crew, my Arnold Classic crew, or my bookkeepers. So I tend to float between all my different divisions each day, and then we've got a warehouse outside that does all our merchandise, so I might go out there and have a cigar with my merchandise guy in the afternoon, then come back into
This
the
is in the
emails.
morning.
That's it.
This is in the morning.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
There's whiskey. No, not really. We don't drink in the mornings, but then I might go back to the computer and do some design work. So I've just got so many different facets, and I'm trying to write some stuff at the moment and work on some new products. So I kind of take on a lot of things so that I never get bored or anything.
Good.
Definitely switch it up, and I need to be busy. I hate being idle. I can't do it.
Yeah, no, that's good. So, all right, let's take it back into that timeline. So, obviously, we're sitting in.
We actually do need sound effects for the show. So if you want to stick around, we'll just do a couple of recordings. I'll sing to you about his room again.
So this is the original Doherty's gym you were mentioning before the show. So how did it all get started? You were talking about some pretty interesting stuff before we started recording. Like, what was the process like getting your dream of like having a gym in your name, getting it set up, and
Well, we've got to go way back. So I actually had a gym in Bendigo. I worked at a gym and sort of started running it when I was very young. I think I was like 19 when I was pretty much running this gym in Bendigo, which was the first one I worked at. And when I was 21, I stupidly had an opportunity to buy it and use my parents' house as collateral and bought it and paid, with what I know now, about 4 times more than what it was actually worth. And I thought I knew everything, I could trust, but it was very, very green. And as a young man, you think you know everything, and I didn't have a fucking clue, but I thought I did.
Yeah.
And so I ran it into the ground. And in those years, from 21 to 29, I became a complete screwball. So I got sucked into the nightlife. I did all the things that you shouldn't do.
all the fun stuff?
Yes and no. I mean, I was competing as a bodybuilder at the time, and started getting pretty good at it. But then, you know, the dark side sort of sucked me in, and I did a lot of things that I'm probably not proud of in that time, and I became very delusional. And what happens with a lot of guys when they get a lot of muscles, they start getting all jacked up, they think that defines them, and then you walk around, you sort of have this ego where you just, it gets the better of you. So I thought I knew everything about business. I didn't have to work hard. Everyone's going to come. Meanwhile, this original gym, which wasn't Doherty's, it was called Plaza Fitness, was getting worse and worse and worse every week and going to shit. And it got to the stage where when I woke up to myself and got out of this, let's call it a daze that I was in, I thought, shit, you know, I've got less members than when I started. And at the same time, when I bought the gym, there was 2 or 3 gyms in Bendigo. Within 2 years, there was 9, and 2 more had opened up in my street. This is a town of 100,000 people.
Yep.
And here I am driving around in a flash car, sticking out my imaginary lats and walking around like a dickhead, and not actually treating it like a business. And so I was broke. I mean, we didn't go bankrupt, but I got to the stage where it was so bad, I couldn't find a way out. And then I was getting depressed, and I was sort of, you know, hiding, pushing all the close, because when you're having some kind of, let's call it a situational depression, you push everyone away that's any good for you and invite all the shit people into your life. So what I'd do would be to ignore what was really going on, and then just have all these, you know, addict kind of friends around and not the right people. And I realised that if I kept going like that, I was going to fuck up not just my life, but my parents, who'd gone out on a limb and done everything for me, and I'd let them down in everything as it was, because I'd thrown out of school. I didn't go to university. I didn't choose a path that anyone had, but I always had this vision and this dream of being a gym owner and a promoter and a bodybuilder and an international kind of icon in the sport. And I knew that, but I just didn't know how. So, cut a long story short, there was a gym that had opened up across the road, and he was going to, I got word that his lease was up and he needed another building. And I went to him and said, look, can we talk? And he said, no, you're like the enemy. We can't talk. I said, well, you're going broke and I'm going broke. Can we just have a coffee? It took me like 2 weeks for him to agree to have a coffee. Yeah. I still remember the coffee shop. He had a cappuccino and so on. And we sat down and I said, look, how about you take over my building? I'll give you all my equipment except for a few pieces I need to go to Melbourne, and I'll give you all my members, and I won't charge you a cent, but you've just got to honour the memberships, because I don't want, you know, mum and dad have got to live here. I don't want to have anyone disadvantaged. If you do that, I'll give you the business that I paid, you know, $100,000 for anyway. Yeah. He said, that makes great sense. So he took over my lease and my equipment and members and so on, and I walked away with nothing. And I come to Melbourne basically with a truckload of broken equipment, 2 $200,000 debt still against my parents' house, and just this big fucking dream. And when you said this is the original Doherty's gym, it was actually a little warehouse around the corner.
Yes.
So we started with nothing, with no members whatsoever, just zero. But I was running bodybuilding and fitness shows, so I had a kind of a name, and I was trying to think, what are we going to call the gym? And at that stage, I'd lived in LA for a while, and I'd been to the iconic Gold's Gym, World's Gym, and Powerhouse gyms, and Nate approached me about buying licenses, and I almost chose one of them, but I just didn't have the capital to even buy the license to do it.
Right.
And I thought, well, I've kind of made a name for myself, even on a small scale.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll just try Doherty Gym. So we come up with a logo and put up a sign and, fixed up the equipment that I had. It was like a set of dumbbells and a lat pull-down machine, a leg press, a hack squat, and a bunch of pictures I'd taken at shows that no one had seen. So we built this little thing, and it became this cult place to go. And my great mate, Sonny Schmidt, who was Australia's best pro bodybuilder at the time, had moved back from Los Angeles and came to train with me. So we trained for 3 Mr. Olympias together, and he won the Masters Olympia and so on. And we started to develop a great following where people would come over to watch us train. And I had a couple of breaks training AFL footballers and sporting people and fighters and this and that, and made a bit of a name for myself as a high-level trainer. So the gym started to go better. And then, having said that, I still wasn't taking a wage. I was homeless, basically, and so on. So we outgrew that gym after, I guess, 4 years, and moved here and became Australia's only 24-hour gym at the time. And everyone said, you're nuts.
Yeah.
Because everything I've ever done, everyone's tried to talk me out of it, so I can't work, you're going to do your balls and blah, blah, blah. And it's good that people look out for you, but you've got to be able to say, well, thanks for your advice, but I've got this vision and this passion, and I'm willing to work harder than anyone. I know I can make this work. And everyone said, no one to go to a 24-hour gym, and here we are 20 years later, and they're on every fucking street corner.
Yeah.
So you know that you're right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's funny you say that. I remember I listened to a podcast called How I Built This, and it's about stories like you're telling me, like success, people that are in a successful position, but we weren't always successful. We went through a million ups and downs in their stories. And there was an interesting one. Do you know Vice, the documentary filmmakers? Vice, the company Vice. So Vice, they had one of the founders of Vice was on this show, and he said something similar to what you were saying, where the last thing you want to do, the last thing you want to do when the chips are down is listen to your closest friends and family, because what they're going to do is that they want to stop the pain. They want you to be happy. They want you to fold.
And they want you to be safe.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly,
My mum tells me all the time, every day, stop Adventure Fit. It's killing you. It's wrong. It's not working, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, Mum, I know you love me. I know you're looking out for me. Shut the fuck up. That's not happening. Because it's those people that are just really looking out for you. They just want you to have a smile on your face.
I hope you don't say shut the fuck up to your mum.
She's a lovely lady.
I bet you say it softer than that. You just say that for your listeners to sound like a hard man. You goes, thanks, Mum, but sorry.
Yeah, I love it.
Butt out, Mum.
Please, Mum.
Mum, I agree.
Shut the fuck
look,
up.
I agree. And my dad's been my business partner through all of this, and he's so many times, oh, God. But, now, having done a few things that have worked, now I go to him and goes, well, you've been right the last 10 times. But back then, of course, he's like, oh, God, this kid.
Yeah.
And, when I first started the gym, and I often tell this story, I didn't have anything, man. I had one car that I sold to pay a power bill. It was a Jeep, and the power got cut off for like the 4th time in this gym. And people were coming and saying, the power's off again. I'd make up stories. There's been a car accident, a power pole. And they go, well, we've heard that before.
Yeah.
And this one time the power got cut off, and I had no resources to, and one of my friends was like, oh, I'll take your Jeep and pay your power bill. And I had this really cool little 4-wheel drive Jeep. It was one of the original ones. And of course I had to accept that. And then I had this old Jaguar I was going to do up like a ZZ Top kind of hot rod. I was going to chop it and crop it. It was like a 67 tank of a thing. Yeah. And I swapped it for a lat pull down because we needed more equipment. Really? So then here I am, I'm 30 years old, $200,000 debt, no cars, and nowhere to live.
Best lats in the world, though.
Yeah. Well, at the time, I was in pretty good nick, but, I was down and out. It was, in a way, the lowest point of my life. But the great thing about this is I'd woken up to myself. So that when I was in this country town, I knew I had to get out, and I'd let the ego get the better of me, and I'd made bad, delusional decisions and so on. This all changed. And being broke and destitute and basically having a gun at your head not to fail is what really, really woke me up and made me. So then when I had nowhere to live, I had 3 worldly possessions. Apart from a duffel bag full of clothes, I had a couch, a rice cooker, and a vertical grill.
We both thought you were going to say cocaine there in the bag. I was getting so excited. I was like, hey, do you still have that bag?
I went to Colombia.
Yeah, that's right.
So everything started going really well for me.
That was a turning point.
Yeah, that's right.
Not quite.
Had a good 3 hours.
So people think that, but it's not the case.
Yeah.
And so what I used to do was we used to open the gym back then at 6 a.m. till 10 at night. So I'd sleep on the couch at the gym, and I'd get up at like 5:15, have a shower at the gym, get out of there before any members arrived, go and buy a coffee at McDonald's, and there was a newsagent nearby, and I'd get a newspaper and a McDonald's coffee, and it was when they just made that shit jug coffee, and I'd walk back to the gym, and just so it looked like I'd come from somewhere, and I'd talk about the people on the tram and make up the suburb that I lived in, all this, but I, in fact, I didn't have a home.
Yep.
And I'd work through from 6 a.m. till 10 at night, every day of the week, and when I'd close at 10 at night, I'd lock up the gates. There was this big roller door at the gym, lock it up, then go hide in the car park over the road and wait for everyone to leave the area and let myself back in. And the reason I did that is because I wanted to maintain my dignity. I didn't want to have to say to anyone or admit it and say, hey, this is a lot worse than what it looks. I'm just like, you know what? No one needs to know that. And for me, just to hold my head up and still feel proud,
of course.
It's my fault and my doing that I'm in this situation. So I've got to fight my way out. So I went 7 years without a wage. And I was telling you guys before, is this guy like Adventure Fit paying its way yet? And you say, oh, no, not yet. It's kind of just like a passion.
Yeah.
Well, that's where I was at.
Yeah.
And I just stuck it out and outlasted everyone. And when I went into the industry, when I came to Melbourne, I realised that I didn't have an education. So everyone that went into the business against me was going to be more educated. I didn't have money behind me. In fact, I had a huge debt. So anyone with money was ahead of me. And there's probably way smarter people. So I thought, okay, so what can I do that they can't do? And I thought I can just outwork and outlast them. So I have. So there's been so many gyms have come and gone or tried to take us on over that time or tried to put us out of business, whatever. And I've just sort of said, well, I think in building a business, you have to know your brand. And we've been very, very specific about what Doherty's Gym is. And I can sit there and talk for another hour about what our brand is. But we're very, very specific. And I guess we kind of get the 5% of people that no one else wants.
Yes.
And it's like a home away from home. And we've built a place where it's a highlight of people's day. And I say to the staff all the time, I've got a lot of staff now, a lot of business and so on. I always say to the staff, don't ever judge people when they come in a bad mood because you don't know what they've gone through to get to the gym. But know this, it's a highlight of their day.
Yeah.
And if they're suffering a mental disorder, if they're in a job that they hate, if they're in a relationship that sucks, if they're being bullied at school or work or university or whatever's going on, they're thinking, when I get to the gym, when I get to Doherty's gym and lift up that weight and punch that punching bag and do that particular stretch, everything's going to be okay. So just understand you're the highlight of someone's day. And I say to people in the fitness industry when I do my public speaking all the time, do you realise there's not many jobs in the world where people actually look forward to seeing you?
Absolutely.
You know, if you work in a bank or at the roads department or the tax department or all these office places, you sit under fluorescent lights and no one looks forward to seeing you. So think how empowered you are. The highlight of someone's day. So I've always loved this industry, and even to this day, I love what I do. I can't wait to get to the gym in the morning. I love this place. I love all of my gyms. And in fact, when I travel, I always find like a real gym. I don't want to go to a mainstream fitness, and I always just find a grungy kind of gym where people hang out, and I love it. So that's how it all got started.
So, it's interesting you talk about the community side of it because like it's really like I've heard it referred to gyms as the third place. People it's really healthy for people to have a third place, and that might be so. Obviously, home and work are you too, and like you say, a lot of the time, they're not going to be. They might not be great. You might have just had a child. I've got a mate who's going through a divorce at the moment. He's a young dude, you know, like his whole life's changed. His home life isn't happy and he's stressed at work. So he has a football club. You know, he's a passionate footy player. So that's his third place. Yeah. And that's the one place that he can go to. He knows he's got 50 mates when he walks in there. They're all got a smile on their face. It's all banter. There's no, you know,
no
and that's
judgment.
That's what this is.
Totally
for.
right. Yeah. It's that. And it might be the thread that holds someone's life together. You don't know how close to the edge someone is, or they don't go off the deep end, except because they can come and release their tensions, and get their endorphins going, feel good about themselves in a place where they're accepted, not judged, for an hour or two a day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we've built this culture where members actually use their membership. So our retention rate's really, really high, and we do everything that the fitness industry says won't work, we do, and everything that their manual of how to get members we've never used, and we just do everything off the books. We've never done discount, we've never done mainstream advertising, we've never sat in fucking shopping centres and lied to people with a spinning wheel that they've won a prize. We're just real, and it's not necessarily a hardcore gym. In fact, when you walk out there, half the people training are mums and dads and business people who want to be around real people. They're sick of that wank that the industry tends to be.
Definitely. Yep, absolutely.
That's interesting.
Let's go.
So how did you actually start? Well, where did your passion for bodybuilding begin, essentially?
It's a funny thing because it's like one of these full circle kind of stories. So when I was a kid, I loved footy and all this sort of thing. And just like your regular sports, and I used to, back then, of course, your mum never drove you to school or to footy practice. Everyone had a push bike. It was a different world because, every family only had one car and money wasn't plentiful. We weren't dirt poor or anything, but, my dad...
Did you have like a ZZ Top sort of car? Or?
Now...
Yeah, back in the day.
I collect motorcycles, and I've got a hot rod I'll show you after that. I've got some cool shit now.
Yeah. I'm keen for that bag of cocaine, to be honest with you, mate. But
So, where was I?
Yeah, I got too excited. Passion for bodybuilding.
Oh, so how it started. So when I was, I guess, about to turn 14, I think, I was just like a chubby kid. And there was no... your mum didn't know anything about nutrition. There was no... Life Get Into It or any Tick for the Heart Foundation or any focus on low sugar, low... They just didn't know. So you'd have chops and mash and chips and fish and chips and bread and butter and Vegemite. It was just stock kind of food.
Straight heroin.
It was a typical Australian country family.
Yes.
And I was a kind of chubbyish kid, but I was sort of getting into, I guess, puberty and wanted to feel good about myself. And I was watching TV one night, and I never forgot this, and I talk about this all the time at my seminars, and this guy came on, and it was Arnold. And I was sitting there watching it with my dad, and I go, Dad, what's that? And they talk about light bulb moments. This is the moment that changed my life. And I said, what's that? He goes, he's a bodybuilder. And I said, what's that? And Dad said, well, they build up their muscles. I go, what the hell is that in his arm? And Dad goes, that's a vein. And Arnold had these big hoses down his arm. I'm like, wow. And I'm like, so... Can you look like that? Can anyone look like that? And Dad's like, I guess if you, do your research and go along to the gym and, clean up your eating, obviously, and lose a bit of weight and build up your muscles, of course you can. And I'm like, why doesn't everyone, if you can look like that, why doesn't everyone look like that? Like if you could have that vehicle as your car in life to get around, why wouldn't you do whatever it takes to look like him? But it wasn't just his body. It was this guy's charisma and confidence. And here's a guy with broken English who believed himself so great that it was like the Mike Walsh show. He'd come out to do this variety show to launch a book. And the book was called The Education of a Bodybuilder by Arnold Schwarzenegger. And went back to Mum and Dad. I said, there's a couple of things we need to talk about. One, Christmas, my birthday's coming up. All I want's that book. Please find me that book. That's all I want. And after that, I don't want any pocket money. I don't want any help. I'm going to do... I've got it. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a bodybuilder. And a year later, I'm not going to be a bodybuilder, a gym owner, and a promoter. And I knew that back then. And I'd go to the headmaster at school and promote socials. So we were at a boys' school. I'd go to the girls' school, and I'd put on a night, and I'd sell tickets at the door and sly grog out the back and raid the tuck shop and all this kind of thing. So I've always had this
kind of... girls out the back.
I'd always had this kind of promotional brain. And then I fell in love with the gym culture. And... so I got this Arnold, the Encyclopedia of a Bodybuilder, and I collect stuff, as you can see. I've got everything in my life I've ever impacted me, except that book, because I read it so many times it fell to pieces and I lost it along the way somewhere. But it was just this light bulb, and it's funny because a lot of people are really lost, and I do a lot of mentoring work, and a lot of people just don't know what they want. And there's so much pressure on kids. Like my son's 15, and I never... bust his balls about, what do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? What do you want to be when you grow up? Because I fucking hated it. I was like, I don't know, man, I'm a kid. I just want to have some fun and,
Plenty of time to work that out.
Yeah. Get fit, get a route, just learn how to live. Just
get another route.
Exactly.
just normal young boy, teenage boy stuff.
Yes.
And I was always under this incredible pressure. If you don't go to university, you're a failure. And I'm like, Arnold didn't go to university. And, well, actually, he did, as I found out many years later. He did business school and all this different stuff. But and I'd look at successful people in the world and say, well, they're not all super educated. Some of them just went out and figured it out. So I didn't continue with school. I straight away joined a gym. And then I remember in 1980, the Olympics had been on, and I was going to the YMCA. So we joined a fitness gym, just learned a little bit. I was still at school. But then I sort of started getting serious. I guess I was 15. And we joined me and my best mate joined the YMCA, and the Olympics had been on. There's a funny story. We were watching the weightlifters, and I said to him, "Oh, we should try some of those Olympic lifting."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Yeah, right, you go first." By this stage, I'm a big, solid kid. I think it was like 90 kilos when I was 15. So
Shit.
we put a plate on each side of the thing, which would have been like a 45-pound plate on the old thin bars, and put the collars on. And I lifted up to my chest. I'm like, yeah, I got this, you know. And then what I hadn't noticed in the Olympics, they put one leg back and they do like this dip squat and split squat. So no
jerk,
idea.
Split jerk, yep.
All that. All I just saw the bit where they push up. So I pushed it up. I go backwards, land bad like this. The weight goes like this, and I snap both bones off in both wrists.
Jeez.
One's come through the skin. I'm like, oh. And
Did you get the rep?
It did go up, and then over I went. And then, of course, there was no mobile phone, so my mate had to run off and call an ambulance and so on. I was fucked.
Yeah.
Anyway, and this is where it all started. So, I get to the doctor, I went to the local hospital, and they patched me up. And in the meantime, I pushed him back into place because you can't feel any pain. And so I've got plaster from here to here. Oh. So, because this is not visual, so it's from my hand up to my bicep.
Yeah.
Both arms in plaster. I'm 15. It's not a good thing.
Definitely not a good thing.
Mum's got to help you wash and all this kind of thing. There's nothing you can do.
Mum's helping you jack off.
She was good like that.
She sounds like a lovely lady. Do you want to elaborate?
I've rolled my mum and Tony's mum in the first 10 minutes of the show.
Still off the...
So I hope she never hears this. Anyway, but, look, and as it was, I was a pretty rebellious kid, so I got into a lot of trouble because, kids leaving the scene of the crime with both arms in plaster. It was a small country town that kind of narrowed it down a little bit for them. So I got a heap of trouble. I won't go into that. But anyway, where I'm heading with that is at the hospital, the first thing that the doctor that patched me up said, well, he asked me how I did it. I told him, he said, well, there'll be no more lifting weights. You'll never do that again. You have to find something else. I'm like, fucking dickhead.
Yeah.
You're probably an intern or something. What would you know? So, 8 weeks later or something, I had to go get the plaster off, or whatever it was, 10 weeks. I went to see the local GP. He'd been my doctor all my life. I thought, he'll be all right. I talked to him. First thing he said, well, that's it. No more weight training. You can never do this again. And I thought, really? There's got to be a way you can build up your strength in your wrists and forearms. I just refused to accept it. And this has been the story of my life, that when people say I can't do something, I just tend to really dig in. And so I thought, not only will I get my arms better and lift weights again, I'm going to make a living out of it. I'm going to be really good at it. I'm going to build this unbelievable body. And I'm going to do it. And it probably made me want to do it even more than before.
Prove them wrong.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, no. Yes, at the time. But I'll show you some of the stuff when I do my seminars. And I've got these like poster things with sort of my quotes and sayings. And one of them is, don't do it to prove them wrong. Do it to prove yourself right. And it's probably only the last 5 years I finally worked it out. That all my life I wanted to prove people wrong. You know what I worked out? And you guys, I hope you can learn from this. The people that you want to prove wrong hate your guts and don't give a fuck. And when you prove them wrong, they just come up with some other shit and go, oh, well, he got lucky. Fucking someone gave him a loan, or he got kissed on the dick, or fucking, that's only because he met Arnold, or it's only because, he's in the right place at the right time. And they just continue to hate. So you haven't proved them wrong after all. All you've done is turn them into worse fucking enemies because your success reflects their lack of success.
Yes, correct.
So what you have to do is fuck that. Don't do anything ever to prove anyone wrong. Do it to prove yourself right. Because when you do it to prove yourself right, you have this enormous sense of achievement.
Yeah.
It's great for your self-esteem. It's great for your confidence. And then when you achieve this, then you can achieve that. And little things become big things. So this has been my mantra all my life, is just to take on undoable tasks that everybody writes off and then say, all right, well, let me show you what I can do. And that's been basically the guts of the story.
I'm literally full bar right now. Like I'm up and about.
Chubbed?
Yeah, I'm very, very much chubbed right now. I want to go and do something. Just give me 2 minutes.
That's awesome. Because really, at the end of the day, like, you want to have drive and you want to have things that motivate you and push you forward. And if you have to use external circumstances for that, but you also don't want to dwell on it. You don't want to be like, oh, I really care what this person thinks. You say, you want to just care about yourself.
Definitely.
Most important
thanks,
thing
I can see where you're coming from.
Self-worth and self-belief.
Yeah, and it's like when I did the first 24-hour gym, I'd already been broken, hadn't had a wage for 4 years at that stage, and finally got some members, finally started to break even. I'm like, we've got to change it up. We've got to get a building 3 times bigger, which was 4 times more rent. We've got to be the first 24-hour gym in Australia. Got to put staff on. It was like starting all over again. and everybody said it can't be done. There's only one or two people in my life believed it. Everyone, bank manager, accountant, everyone goes, oh, who's going to go in the middle of the night? And I'm like, do you want a list?
Yeah.
I've thought about this. I don't stop thinking. I don't sleep. I just think and think and think. Still to this day, I'm just like, I don't stop. So like, well, who's going to train at night? Strippers,
Shift
bouncers,
workers.
police, emergency workers, casino workers, hospitality people that finish at 2 a.m, taxi drivers, and airport work, and so on and so on.
It's demand.
And people that work in factories that are on split shifts. And I could go for 10 minutes about who's going to train at night. And my point was, doesn't matter whether they do or don't, we can get our cleaning done at that time, and people will join because they can. Even people that work during the day go, wow, sometimes I start at 6 and I don't get to go to the gym, but because you're never shut, we can come in at 4. And people say, we're going to shut Christmas, New Year. No, fuck it. Because the people that come here need this place. And Christmas Day, for example, is the loneliest day in the world if you don't have a family, you're not religious, or you're living out of town. So we're in our 18th year, and we've opened every Christmas Day. And it's one of our busiest days because all the people that don't fit in haven't got anywhere to go. They go, at least I know Doherty's will be open.
Yeah, I got my mates that told
great, man.
And someone will be there with a smiling face, and so I've always done what's right, and not just. And financially, you say, well, shit, you could close this night, and you could maybe not open Christmas Day. And I'm like, no. That's if you're driven by that, you don't get it. So so I have this ritual now when I open a 24-hour gym. I throw the keys away, and I literally the first day I opened here, we'd been working day and night to get this place finished because we did it with nothing. We didn't have any money. We didn't have a budget. We got the members to loan trailers and cars and trucks to bring the equipment from the other gym to here and to roll the rubber out and to do all this kind of stuff. We had nothing. And I remember I burnt everyone out trying to get it finished because I said, once we open, there's no turning back. And I'll never forget, I got here at 6 a.m, and one of the girls that worked for me put a ribbon on the door and hung a pair of scissors there to have the opening ceremony. I said, everyone be there at 6. We're going to open, have this speech. And that's it. So I rocked up. There's fucking no one here, just me. I thought, I'm going ahead with this. So I said, well, everyone, thanks for coming. I'd just like to declare Doherty's gym officially open. We'll never close the doors again. And I cut the ribbon and I threw the keys over into that car park. Oh, really? Honest to God.
Hilarious.
Honest to God.
Do you know where they are specifically? I may as well.
What happened? Well, it doesn't matter because the door doesn't shut. And then about 6-7 years ago, we had to replace the front doors. And the guys were like, here's the key. I go, fuck it, stick it. I don't want it. What's wrong? No, it's an omen now. Get rid of it. And then when we opened Doherty's gym in the city, in the railway vaults, we had a thing, and my partner Alistair threw the keys into the Yarra River. And we don't shut, no matter what happens.
Yeah, that's great.
Mayhem, natural disasters, roadblocks. We don't shut. That's it.
That's classic. So do you know what I find so interesting about it is that, like, we touched on it before, but you were 14, 15, and you said you had that light bulb moment. For some people, it takes ages to find out what they really want to do, because I feel like motivation for me, like when I was growing up, I'd always wanted to play AFL and I always wanted to do all this sort of thing. I thought like AFL would get me what I wanted, like money and chicks and all this sort of stuff. But it was only maybe the last couple of years that I was like, I found, the podcast and good mates and doing all this sort of stuff, and this is what I really want to do. And I feel like when you find what you really want to do, that passion just comes with it, that unrelenting drive to succeed. Because if you want to make your vacation your vocation, you just want to work as hard as you can to do it. But what do you say to people that maybe they're on this track and they're constantly falling off the bandwagon, all this sort of stuff? Do you think it's hard to find your thing that you really want to do? Because it almost seemed quite easy for you in a sense.
Well, only because I just always had this self-belief. But what I try and say to people, and I say to my kids, is find what you love doing and then work out how to make a living out of it. Like, and if someone's thinking about going into a business or changing jobs or whatever, I always say, if it keeps you awake at night and you wake up thinking about it and you can't think about anything else, it's for you. And if you can find something that you look forward to doing every day, you never work a day in your life. So I'm still like a kid going to the gym. I'm like, I can't believe this. Look what I get to do every day. I love it. And I think it was funny because I had a long conversation with Arnold about this somewhere where this, I think it was in Africa. And I was talking about some of the stuff I do with my talks and this and that. And we always talk about how many people are miserable and don't enjoy what they do. He said when he was governor, they did some kind of survey in California, and it was 74 or 75% of Californians hate their job. That's 3 out of 4 people gets out of bed loathing and seething every fucking day of their life. And so if I'm mentoring or helping someone, I'm saying, don't do that. Don't be that 75%, be the 25%. And it's not just about money. And when I do these talks, I always say to people, why is there more people in therapy that are absolutely minted and loaded with tons of money than poor people? And it's not because they can afford it. It's because they thought they'd be happy when. And if you think I'll be happy when I've got a Porsche, I'll be happy when I've got a hot missus, I'll be happy when I've got the house on the hill, I'll be happy when I've got $1 million in the bank. No, you fucking won't. You'll be happy when you enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
And then when you get there, it's even better.
Yes.
But if you think that this point in your life is suddenly going to make you happy and you're miserable and hate what you do, but it doesn't matter because it pays good, you poor fucker, you're going to end up in therapy.
Yeah.
You know, or you're going to be a miserable, twisted, bitter fuck who just looks down on other people and judge. It's just not where it's at.
Yeah, exactly.
And in travelling with Arnold and some of the people I've now been exposed to, I've met some very, very successful people. And the ones who are really good at it just glow because they love what they do. And some of them make some serious money. I've been fortunate enough now to rub shoulders with some billionaires and some highly successful people in all kinds of different industries.
Yeah.
And you see each one of them's just got this burning passion.
All right, guys, just a quick break in proceedings to talk about Quash Creative and Audible, our sponsors for today. So Quash Creative, guys, are an Elwood-based design firm, and they are amazing for anything that is creative that you need in your business, whether it's graphic design, whether it's are you filming me?
Yeah.
I'm on TV. But whether it's Audible, whether it's graphic design, whether it's audio-based, whether it's a website, Quash Creative will do it all. That's our friend Sean Marsh. Our intro to this podcast, which we absolutely love, was put together by Marshy. And if you go to quashcreative.com.au and quote radio when you speak to the guys there, they'll give you a free SEO report or a report on the existing brand that you have and help to go forward with that. We're also brought to you by Audible, guys. Audible is an audio book warehouse and an app that you have on your phone. It's the most amazing app of all time. In the last, let's say, 4 days. In the last week, sorry, that's a lie. In the last week, I have finished The Inevitable by Kevin Kelly, one of our guests that we hosted last week. You guys won't have heard it yet. You may have, I'm not sure. I don't think you will have. So that show's coming up. But I've also gone through of recent 10% Happier by Dan Harris, Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink, Start With a Why by Simon Sinek. This has all been in the last maybe 6 weeks. So I'm always reading a book and I'm always audibling a book as well. So I'm always getting as much information in as I can.
You get your feed in, mate. You get your knowledge.
Get my knowledge in and getting better and more knowledgeable and more well-read as a person. I think it's very important. So
Humas!
And I also think that you guys should do it too. So head to audibletrial.com/ADVF radio. You'll get one free audiobook and 30 days free trial for their service. And here's back to the show. It's like it's basically the conversation we're having last night about money. We had a financial friend of ours kind of come on last night. We went into this deep conversation about the lack of money. So if you're at a very uncomfortable state with money, you don't have enough, then that can be a really negative impact on your life.
Yes.
But once you get to a comfortable, relatively comfortable position, then no matter how much money you have, it's not going to mean you're twice as happy, 3 times happy. You're not going to be. It's just you're at a comfortable position. So then build everything around you to make your life something that you enjoy.
Part of that kind of sucks balls, what you're saying, because I think it's what you're saying. But having travelled as much as I have, it's made me realise that everybody here in Australia's got a sense of entitlement. And they think, oh, yeah, but I deserve to fucking have 3 square meals and have a comfortable house and nice furniture and a luxury car. Yet, if you've got $20 in your pocket, you're in the top 10% of wealthy people in the world.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah. You just stop and think about it. In India, there's 1.3 to 1.5 billion people.
Yeah.
Right? In Australia, we've got 23 million. In China, there's 1.5 billion they estimate at the moment. Just stop and think about those numbers and what a tiny fucking speck we are in this absolute beautiful country where the standard of living is the best in the world. Melbourne is the best city in the world to live in. Trust me, I've been everywhere. There's nothing like it. But people here don't travel. So they've got a sense of entitlement. They think, oh, yeah, but the government, these taxes, fucking... Come on, man. If you've got a roof over your head and warm food in your belly every day,
you're doing well.
You're actually doing well.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
Because we're brought up with a certain standard, and I get all that, but some of the happiest people I've seen, and this is another story, I'm Mr. Storyteller over here, but when I've been to India several times, and I always have made an effort to visit a slum while I'm there. And I remember the first time I was in Mumbai, and I had this driver. It's kind of crazy because I'm staying in this 7-star hotel, which was just one of the best hotels I've ever stayed in the world, the Taj Hotel in Mumbai, just near the arch, and out of one window you see the arch and the ocean, the other one you see all the beautiful buildings. On the other side there's one of the biggest slums in the world. Mm-hmm. And I'm driving around and showed me all these temples and historical landmarks and all this. Is there anything else you want to see? And I said, look, I'd love to go into a slum if it's not belittling for the people. I don't want to be like Tony the tourist and go and take pictures of the poor people. I'd like to just to feel it.
Yeah,
he goes,
sure.
Oh, he said, I live in a fantastic slum. He goes, it's one of the best slums in all of India. He said, we've got running water. He said, our family, I've got 3 boys and a wife. And he said, and we share a toilet with just 10 other families. He said, we've got power. And he was so proud. And he goes, and I work at this 7-star hotel. And so I remember we're driving past this big apartment building and it had trees growing out the side of it and fucking sheets and material and tree roots. It was like a housing commission that had been sandblasted with mud and trees growing out. It was the most fuck building I've ever seen. I said, so if you worked your ass off, could you, because you're getting, I think I gave him $100 tip. I go, obviously you're way better than financially than the other people in the slum. Could you get out of there and maybe buy a house one day? He goes, not in a million years. And I pointed to this worst apartment I've ever seen. What about a place like that? Could you get an apartment there? He goes, not in all of my lifetime, not in my father's lifetime, my time, or my children's lifetime could I ever do that. He said, all I can do in making more money is send my children to a better school. He goes, do you know how lucky my boys are? They get to travel 2 hours to go to a better school. So they walk down a dirt track 20 minutes to wait for a bus. They go 2 hours to school. And this is 7, 8, and 9-year-old kids.
Yeah.
Who'd imagine them here, they'd be in the 4-wheel drive getting dropped off at the door. Mum would be bitching because she's 100 metres from where the gate is. These kids go on a dirt track through a slum to a bus, travel 2 hours each way with good traffic. So 4 hours a day on a bus just to have a chance at getting a better education. And here's this guy glowing. Anyway, long story short, he said, that's my slum, but it's too far away. So I'll take you to my friend's slum. It's just around the corner. So he took me deep into this slum. He introduced me to the heads of the slum, and they got little stores in there, little shops, and of course I bought some stuff for my girls, blah, blah, blah. And what I saw was some of the happiest, richest people I've ever known.
100%.
They're glowing and smiling, they're proud of it. Look at my room, and I'm saying to this guy, well, you live in a slum and you've got 3 kids, what do you have, like a bedroom and a bathroom? He just laughed at me. He goes, no, we've got one room. That's the kitchen, lounge room and bedroom. My 3 sons, my wife, we're doing better than most.
Yeah.
And it just stuck with me. And I always,
It's all relative, isn't it?
This is what we don't get here.
Of course.
People go, and it's important to have a certain standard of living. Yeah. Because you're born into an entitled society.
Exactly, yeah.
And when you travel a little bit and just sort of say, well, shit, I don't even know what it's like to be hungry. And I thought I'd been broke.
Yeah.
I thought I knew what it was like to be down and out. Come on, man.
No idea.
At least in
It's just
Australia
your
or in the
perception of
US,
it.
if you have a dream and you believe in yourself and you work your fucking ass off,
Yep.
you can change your life and be anything you want to be.
Yep.
If you're born into that or in a village in China, it doesn't matter how hard you work or name 10 other countries, you're never going to break out of that no matter what. So think about what a great opportunity. And people say, oh, yeah, but, so-and-so is lucky.
Yeah,
Everyone here is lucky.
Yeah.
Everyone here is in a position to succeed.
Yeah.
So I've just always known this stuff. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to... I didn't buy what they were selling me. For when I was a little kid and they told me I should be an accountant or work in a bank or get a degree, I'm not buying that. What a fucking boring life. I'll go and sit in an office and work for someone else. So I've always worked for myself. I've never really had a job interview or done a resume or anything. And I've known it since I was a kid. So I don't know if that's it's how I was wired or whatever else, but to me it's not even confusing. It's just like, okay. But then people say, well, you're really good, you're always helping people. I believe that everybody has the right to experience that. So I try and share that and think there's enough for everyone. And if someone's got a brightness about them and they're not buying into all that and they don't fit in, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because the world now, with what you guys are doing and with the internet and with Instagram and some of these vehicles
Pornhub,
that are now...
obviously.
Seriously, but with some of these vehicles that are now available, you can create a whole new life that didn't exist 10 years ago.
Absolutely.
There's so many different ways now to make a buck, to find what you love doing, how to promote yourself and build your brand. So
It's absolutely insane.
That's a
All I
long
have to do is
rant,
press
wasn't
the
it?
button.
Where did we start with that?
I
Money,
really...
success, psychologists.
Mate,
yes.
I couldn't agree more. This is why, with the travel thing, and you're somebody that obviously has travelled all over the world, like you said, travel, to put things into perspective for people, like, I think travel is the number one key to doing that.
No doubt.
My brother's 8 years younger than me, And I started traveling when I was kind of 24. I did a 6-month trip through South America, and I came back a different person. And the one example I'll use is I remember walking past, in Bolivia, walking past an old lady who was sitting on the cold. Bolivia's cold as fuck. It's the highest capital city in the world, absolutely freezing, on the poverty line basically. And there was a lady that was sitting there selling handmade handicrafts to people walking on the street. And she served it up to me, mister. I said, no thanks, no gracias. And I kept walking, and I turned back, and the lady reminded me of my grandmother. My grandma's got lots of money, lives in a nice little apartment, warm, air-conditioned, like always eats the best food, so on and so forth. This lady was sitting on the cold concrete street in Bolivia, like selling, trying to make 20 cents here, 20 cents there to keep herself on. She was 70 years old, and that one thing was the thing that sparked it for me. This thought of like, fuck, how fucking lucky are we? So when my brother turned 18, I got him to stoke his passion for travel, so he would mature quicker and younger than I did. I got him for his 18th birthday was a list of 8 places he could choose to travel to, and I would travel with him. And then my brother's gone on to be like, he's got the same mindset. Yeah, and he's just a mature...
So where did he choose?
I knew exactly where he'd choose. So I gave him South Africa, safari, Japan, snow, New Zealand, what's it called? Hiking in New Zealand. Gave him 8 really diverse, so on and so forth, different options. And I had surfing in Indonesia. And we grew up on the Moines Peninsula, Tony, right next to Ryback Beach. And my brother, I can surf, but I'm not a surfer. My brother's a surfer. Like, lives and breathes it. So I put it on there. I'm like, fuck, should I just leave Bali off? Because he's gonna pick it. And then I put it out there, and I thought about it for about probably subtitled. And then we went to Indonesia and whatever. But I think it's great to be able to tell these stories more on the podcast, because people, like you say, in Australia, especially America, we've got a lot of American listeners. Yeah. Americans are even more crazy than Australian. They have a great country and 52 states they can travel to, but they don't step out of their own country to see the world.
America's so interesting. Like, of all the places I travel, I love the US. I never want to live there. I want to go live in the US. I go, really?
Yeah.
You're already in the best place in the world. But there's it can be a really, really hard place to live because of the lack of social welfare. I mean, here, if you're lazy, they give you the dole. If you're just hopeless and can't find somewhere to live, they'll eventually give you somewhere to live. You get free medical and so on.
It's very
in the States, man, you get 90 days of welfare and then you hustle. Yeah. You're sitting on a street corner, and when that global recession hit a few years ago, I remember I was in Santa Monica, and I'd never seen so many well-dressed people with a backpack, that were homeless because they'd just lost everything because their house was suddenly worth half of what it was worth, and the bank said, well, now you owe more than what we could ever get for it, so we're foreclosing and you're out. It was really sad to see. But it's like 52 different countries. It really is, and I always enjoy visiting there. But it's a hard place to live too. It's certainly a hard place to make a living, but you can succeed. I mean, once again, look at Arnold. He went there with English as a second language, a long surname, overdeveloped muscles.
Long surname.
And said, I'm going to be the best bodybuilder in the world. I'm going to be the highest paid actor, a leading man, not a bit part. And if I can't be president, I'll be governor of the biggest state.
Done it all.
And California's in the top 10 economies in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
And if I ran it for 8 years, I mean, just think about that. And how many people said it can't be done. Yeah. And he always says, don't listen to the naysayers. Just don't buy into it. So having him in my ear now the last 3 years, constantly 6-8 times a year, it's been life-changing, really.
This is one of the reasons why I love the show so much as well. It's like singing and talking shit. And I mean, there's just so much content for me as a person trying to, take a leaf out of your book and take a leaf out of all these people's books. Is it like, we're constantly interviewing people that have achieved success in their own life. And it's just amazing, like the commonality in what, people like yourself say. It's just like this unrelenting drive to success, whatever it is. And it's just like, you hear about it as a kid going, if you strive hard and you achieve and all this sort of stuff, but it's true. It's literally true. Like if you know exactly what it is you want to do, and you can bring it back into little tasks and how to get there, you can't possibly fail.
Yeah, success leaves a lot of clues. So you're going to be the people that you have coffee with. If you hang around with scumbags and losers and people that are very negative, guess what? Yeah. If you hang around with people that are what you want to be, then it rubs off on you. And I've really learnt that the last few years. I always have 3 words, which is passion, vision and action. So you've got to have a passion for what you do, otherwise you're a slave to someone else, and you're going to just find one day that you can't do it because you're not motivated. Motivation's fake. So you've got to have passion. And you've got to have vision. You've got to have vision without being delusional. You've got to say, okay, well, I've got this great passion to be or whatever, but is that market already oversaturated? What's my point of difference? So you've got to have a clear vision of how you can make it. Otherwise, you're just a dreamer.
Yes.
All right? And there's a big difference between being a go-getter and just having a dream, because a dream's nothing until you take action. So you've got passion, you've got vision. And action means start today.
Yeah.
Yep.
I always say, worry about what you can do, not what you can't do. Now, go back to those days in my first gym in Brunswick when I was broke. And I mean, as I said, no wages, no members, no nothing. So what I'd do when I couldn't afford a treadmill, because I had no treadmills or anything like that, or a leg press or something I dearly wanted and craved and the members needed, well, I can't have $2,000 to buy that. It's going to take me 2 months or 3 months. But I can afford a can of paint. It's $80. So I'd always be painting walls. And I'd move equipment around every day, and I'd change things, and I'd move the pictures to different spaces. So whenever anyone walked in, it looked like I was doing something.
Yeah.
Now, fuck, this guy's always putting into the gym. He's always doing something. And that's why when I showed you guys around the gym before, I go, oh, sorry, it's not finished yet. And I've been doing it for this building for 20 years.
Yeah.
And I'm always happy but never satisfied.
Yes.
And if you have that, I think just got to stay ahead, because if you don't stay still, you don't get hit.
It's spot on.
It's great.
It is spot
More
on.
questions.
Yeah.
Come on, let's.
No,
I'm starting to wake up and having a bit of fun now.
I'm literally full bar. I can't get rid of it. It's great.
So what are the tips for creating what you've created here? You've created a brand. You've created your own personal brand, but the brand Doherty's Gym is like you say, world renowned.
Yeah,
People
very
come
much.
over. You see all these. We're not right into the bodybuilding fitness industry. We follow a few people on Instagram, but we see people come to Australia, the biggest names in the world in the
go to
industry.
Doherty's.
They go to Doherty's,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And like, what is it? What else is it that sets you apart in what you've set up here? So you talk about the fact that you're always putting back into the gym. You know, you're a first one to be never shutting the doors. Like these are different things that changed industry, and you're always made it a happy and a place that people wanted to walk into. What other things have you added to Doherty's Gym that would contribute to the fact that it's very successful?
Well, a lot of it's just been planned, I guess, clever branding and marketing, but it's also creating an atmosphere which is unlike anything else, because money can't buy what we've got. Like, there's gym owners around who've got way more money than me. They're going to spend $3-4 million setting up a gym, all the best equipment, new equipment, rows of it, and they sell memberships for next to nothing and discount, and it's all about money. And people walk in, they smell it. Whereas here you walk in, and I've always said we're not providing you with a workout, we're providing you with an experience. And I think that's what sets us apart, is the Doherty's experience. You walk in here and you see people that you're not going to see anywhere else. You see pictures and history and memorabilia and shit I've collected over the years that you're not going to see anywhere else. And you leave with an experience. And I think that's what really, really sets us apart. So we've made it a go-to point. So if anyone in the fitness industry, for example, coming from Sydney or Brisbane, Gold Coast, Perth, Darwin, is coming to Melbourne and they're in the fitness, go, people, you've got to go to Doherty's Gym. Oh, can you get me a shirt?
Yeah.
So we'll get someone in, from example, from Adelaide or Sydney, will come in, I heard about your gym. I've always wanted to train here. And I've got 6 mates want to get me shirts. And they'll spend $10 on a casual visit and $200 on merchandise. And then our merchandise sells worldwide. Like last night we sold something to France, something to Sweden, something to Scotland.
That's classic.
It's like Oakland Raiders kind of stuff.
sick,
Man,
isn't
it's
it?
crazy. I went to
a logo that's very...
it's fair.
I had this
renowned.
I had this real moment of truth. I think it was like 3-4 years ago. I was at the Body Power Expo in Birmingham, and I saw 8 guys wearing Doherty's gym clothes at an expo in Birmingham. And at the Mr. Olympia now, I get so many people come up and they say, can I get a picture with you? So I've become this, I guess, iconic in the industry. People want to have a picture. But they'll rip their shirt open. I was at this expo in Barcelona. There's all these Spanish kids. They ripped their jackets open and had Doherty's gym shirts. I'm like, it's surreal.
sick.
You know,
It's
it's
sick.
really crazy. But it's not just bodybuilding fitness. So then we've made it so a place where it's a go-to point for anyone in the world that talks to fitness people. So, for example, the WWE wrestlers all train here. John Cena and Triple H and all these really high-profile guys. Tiger Woods and rap singers, Exhibit and Flo Rida and all these guys when they come. And it might be a porn star, it might be a rap singer, it might be an actor that's in Melbourne and go, I've got to go train at Doherty's Gym. And somehow we've been able to capture that. Well, I won't say somehow, but obviously it's been planned and structured, and it's been a dream and a wish, but it's worked. And then, of course, people say you never know who you're going to see at Doherty. So, obviously Arnold's been here, and I remember the day he came in, and the members all lined up with photos which you can't get, and he was generous enough to do that. So it's like life-changing for people. They come in, and we had Tiger Woods in the city for 2 weeks, and we didn't let anyone near him. And he went and told a whole lot of people, goes, the first time I've ever been left alone in a gym. These guys get it. They're so fucking cool.
Wow.
So we just know people, and we read the temperature in the room pretty well, and we've just, I guess, built our our gym into just so much more than a workout. Because you get a workout, even if I can work out at a hotel or
Snap
Wayne or a
Fitness,
pool, Snap Fitness,
$5 a
fitness food,
fucking
whatever,
week.
I don't give a fuck. Because I'm not playing in that space.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what they do. I just don't give a fuck. People say, have you heard of this gym? Have you been? I said, sorry, man, I'm so caught up in my world. I'm a little bit insular like that. I don't know what's going on or what the trends are. I just don't give a fuck because I'm not a sheep. I've never been a fucking sheep to follow trends. All right, I'll just build. I've just got a vision. That's what I said before: a passion, a vision, and action. And I've got a very clear vision. And the only thing that's ever helped me back is I've been underfunded. That if I had, and it's probably good the way it's worked out because it's all been incremental. But if I had the funds, I know how crazy everything I build would look.
Yeah.
Well, I really want to, and like, having people rip those shirts off and see it is like, it's not like, oh, look at me, how good I am. It's like it's confirmation that everything, because you've thrown your whole life into this. It's just good to see that like it's really paying off as well. But I really want to pick your brain on this drive to succeed, because obviously like the biggest thing that people say is like, oh, lack of time, lack of money, and all this sort of stuff. But I really feel that all stems from just fear of failure. And I was wondering what you like, because we all have fear, like we're all human, all this sort of, so we all have those sort of thoughts. Like what you do when those thoughts start to pop up. Like, do you have any do you do mindfulness skills, or what do you do to sort of combat that?
Well, I guess I'm aware that everyone has a fear of failure. If you're going to ask a girl on a date, what stops you?
Just rejection.
Fear of failure, rejection,
Yeah.
fear of rejection. If you're going to take on a business project, or you're going to risk something, or, I always had this saying, something in a Tom Waits song, you have to risk something that matters. And when you put your balls on the line and risk everything and you don't have a choice, then all of a sudden you don't have the ability to go, oh, that's a bit scary. You go, you know what, I've fucking already jumped. It's almost like, cutting off the rope, cutting off the diving board, that sort of saying like,
jump in and learn how to swim on. Learn how to swim on as you go.
It's a lot of that, and I think you just got to be aware and have a level of confidence where you know that you chose it or it chose you, and either way you're going to do it. So don't overthink it. And a lot of people overthink shit. And the other thing that I love about bodybuilding and fitness, and I preach it. I'm like a preacher for fitness and well-being, because I believe that when you feel good about yourself, you've got confidence. When you've got confidence, you can do anything.
Yeah.
And if you look like a fucking slob and you hate yourself and you've got to get dressed in the dark and you lie to yourself every time you put fucking crap in your mouth and reward yourself and your emotions with food like a fat little kid and you're an adult, then you don't feel good about yourself. Don't fucking pretend that you do. And that's going to impact in every single thing you do. When you feel good, when you've got like a six-pack and your veins are out and you're strutting, you feel good about yourself. And there's a fine line where you can take that too far, and I've been there. But just as an older guy now, to be in better shape than anyone my age is really empowering, and it feels fantastic. And then look at Arnold, who's going to be 70 this year, and he looks amazing. You see him in a T-shirt or something, he's killing it. And you say, but look at the confidence the guy's got. He's got this insatiable, incurable confidence I've never seen in any other human. Of course, I just stay close and just try and just get the crumbs. I'll just get the crumbs of his confidence.
Yes.
So that's kind of, I guess, where this has all taken me now, and the cool shit I'm getting to do is reinforce what I always believed. And it's kind of like I said before about doing it to prove yourself right. And I'm sitting there going, fuck, I was right. I knew I couldn't quit. I knew I had to stick it. I knew I had to outlast everyone. And I knew I had to believe in myself. And there's one person out there listening that's got some self-doubts. You've got to believe in yourself. Self-belief is the greatest thing you can ever have. And you know what? If you take on something really, really big and fail, no problem. It doesn't matter. If you don't, people regret the things that they didn't do, not the things that they did do. And I'll give you this one. And I remember I did my first Relentless Momentum tour, and I throw it over to the audience. I go, ask me anything. I think they're going to ask me all this, bad stuff they've read in the media or whatever. And of course, someone says, why are you the way you are? What drives you? Why are you so up? Like, I've followed you for years or whatever. You're always positive. You're always fucking pushing forward, breaking down barriers, being the wolf, not being the sheep. What is it? What drives you? And it fucking hit me. I go, good question. Just give me a minute. I don't really fear anything except regret. And it just hit me so clear. I go, you know what it is? I'll tell you right now. Everyone just turn the lights down low and we're going to go dark for a minute. I'm going to do it for you guys right now. And all the listeners, just stop and think about that. You're all going to fucking die. Every single person listening to this, us in the room, everyone is one day closer to their deathbed. And it might be a morbid fucking miserable thing to say, but it's true. And the day that you die, unless you get hit by a fucking tidal wave or a bus or something, and you know it's coming, how do you want to die? How do you want to look back on your life? Do you want to be the person who says, fuck, what a ride. I couldn't have fucking packed more into that. That's me. Or do you want to be the person who goes, geez, I just wish I had taken that risk. I wish I had have done this.
One more day.
No, not one more day. I wish I could go back in time and have some fucking balls to do what I knew I needed to do. And I just said, oh, that's too hard. It's too scary. It's too risky. What if I fail? Right? That to me is the scariest thought in the world. And that's why nothing fucking scares me. Right, when I say nothing scares me, everything's scared like any other human, but I take it on. I'm just going to bash down those fears because I don't want to get to the end and go, oh, that time I should have taken that risk. I should have fucking put my house on.
Followed your passions.
Yeah.
Followed your passions, which people don't.
And it's the most important thing you can have because when you face it, when you get there, you don't want to go, oh, fuck. One life and I wasted the cunt. I just didn't fucking do it. I didn't have any balls. So that's my total motivation. So I'm gonna pack every single thing I can to this. That's why I hate sleep. It's a funny thing. If they could invent an operation or come up with a pill which meant in a healthy way you never had to sleep again, I would be the first person. I would line up and go, fucking sign me up. Yeah. Because there's only so many hours of your life. I'd like to be. I hate the fact that we've got to waste even 6 hours a day. Fuck, what a pain in the butt. Imagine if I could get it down to 3, I would. And I've tried and it's not healthy. So I can operate on about 5 or 6 hours sleep. Wow. And that takes some training. But, it's... it's a third of your life, isn't it?
I used to, when I was... I bought a house that I bought when I was about 21 years old. I was living with my girlfriend at the time. And I used to wake up on Saturdays just at the crack of dawn. I'd just be up because I knew there was something I could do in the backyard. I was renovating the whole thing. Landscaping, painting, whatever. I'd get up and I'd just start doing stuff because I wasn't tradie working at the time, which is what I used to do. And Cap was great. She was the greatest chick. She used to sleep in till like 12. And she just had 10, 12 hours sleep. And I'd walk into the room at like 8 or 9. I'm like, "Oi, what are you doing? You fucking getting up?" And she's like, "Nah, I'm just loving it in bed and whatever." I'm like, "Oh, no worries." So come in 2 hours later. I'm like, "Oi, fucking get up. What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm living more of my life than you. You're wasting your time. I'm getting in like an extra 6 hours of life. I'm not getting in a work day a week of life that you're missing out on."
But when you break it down, you can live an extra 10 years if you don't sleep so much.
Sleep when you're dead.
Oh, but you need your sleep. Oh, fuck, get over yourself. Not a little kid. So, and all the successful people I know, the super successful ones.
Well, Arnold reckons he sleeps 4 hours a night or something, isn't he? Famous
sleeps about 5 hours a night, and then he has a couple of maybe 10-minute power naps. And I do the same thing. Right. I always thought it was odd until I saw him. He does exactly the same. I'm like, cool. I can fall asleep. I fall asleep at my desk probably every day. But never more than 10 minutes. I can lie on, when I was working upstairs in the office, I'd lie on the floor starfish. So, but you can't have a proper sleep. Yes, you can. I go into fucking full REM sleep. I dream, everything. Exactly 10 minutes, and I wake up like that, and I feel like I've been on holidays.
So how did you train that? How did you do that? Because I fucking want to do that. I met a dude in LA, remember? He was like a black belt. Yeah, he was in an Uber. And he was like a black belt taekwondo dude. And he swore that he slept like 4 or 5 hours a night. I was like, man, what the fuck? Like, I can do about 7 hours a night. But then this is what I think as well.
You're training very hard as well, though.
Yeah, I'm training very hard, but like I'm not training any harder than you probably did, or Arnold. Definitely not training harder than Arnold did. Like you can surely do it. How did you train it? Because I want to get to this stage.
Just incrementally. So, like when I thought I needed 7 hours, I thought, well, it's like anything you say. It's like giving up smoking. If you think you need 7 hours, say, well, maybe I'll just do 6:50. It's only 10 minutes. And you do that for a week, and you go, well, that didn't kill me. And then I'll go let's go 6:30. It's like when people are giving up smoking that can't go cold turkey or whatever, go, how many smokes do you have? So I do a lot of this mind work. It's 20. I go, what about tomorrow you just have 18? Benjamin, just have 18. Can you do it? Oh, I think I can do that. Just do it for a week. Come see me. And the next week I say 15. All of a sudden they're down to 5. I go, fuck, really? And they go, you know what? I don't crave them like I used to. I don't enjoy them like I used to. It's time to give up smoking. Don't ever put one in your fucking mouth again. It's that simple. So it's like that with sleep. You just work out what you can do, not what you can't do. Go, well, I can't function on 6 hours. Okay, so train yourself on 6:15 or 6:30 or 6, and it comes. And then just allow yourself to have a nap if you need one. But never longer than 10-15 minutes. That's where people fuck up because you get tired. I had to go through that to figure that out. I'll go and sleep for an hour. You wake up like a zombie.
And you still feel fully recovered?
Oh, totally. Look
at me. Exactly. I've got to do it. Well, should we go to 6 from 6?
Yeah, 6 from 6. Tony, we're going to have to do round 2, man. I've got 1,000 more questions. This has been one of. I haven't got goosebumps on in
That's good.
interviews too many times. So
I warned
It
you.
makes me want to go and it makes me want to go and open my own gym called Doherty. To be honest.
Well, I'm selling licenses.
All right, so Tony, I've got 3 questions for you. Tommy's going to hit you with 3 questions, then
Hit me.
we'll wrap it up. So my first one is a travel-related question. Your favourite travel destination on the planet?
God, it's so hard. I've been thinking about this ever since you contacted me because I like each different place I go to for a different reason. Mm-hmm. But I'd have to say, with the Arnold tour and everything else, probably South America, probably Brazil. I got to go down to southern Brazil this year, down to Iguazu Falls and into Argentina and that whole region. Just loved it. Love the people, love the vibe, love the weather. And Rio itself, I think, is just one of the great cities of the world.
My favourite city in the world? Iguazu Falls. I did 6 months in South America. My favourite spot in all of South America.
Well, just got back last month. Loved
Really?
it, yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing. It's the best.
Yeah.
Good. So second question is dream destination. So top of your bucket list, haven't been to, can't wait to get there.
Well, I'm running out because I've been fortunate enough to go to so many places. And after each Arnold now, we go somewhere we've never been. Mm-hmm. So, for example, after Barcelona last year, we went to Portugal. And after Hong Kong, we went to Taiwan. And after this year, we went down to Iguazu Falls. And after Spain, this year, I'm going to go to Prague. So I always add something on I haven't done. So I'm tipping them off. But probably some of South America that I haven't seen would be high on the bucket list. I want to see more. Cuba was a big one until I did it, and I'm just so glad I did it.
Oh,
and,
that's lucky, yeah.
That comes into the people I'd like to have dinner with. That was a Cuba connection. Back to it, and the other one is Russia. I've just loved to go to not just to Moscow, but just to some different far out places in sort of Russia, Eastern Europe. That's just one place I've never been.
Fascinating stuff
So
there.
I'm like, shit, how come I haven't been there? Because I've kind of been everywhere. I've been all over Europe and all over Asia and all over the US, and so I don't have a dream destination as such.
Just everywhere.
Yeah.
More of South America, more of the Caribbean, and definitely some of that Soviet kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah,
cool.
sick, yeah.
Awesome. Last question for me. Any books that you like to recommend to people? Can be any sort of easy read, can be autobiography, self-help, anything like that.
I only read biographies. I've never read a fiction book in my life, for the most part, because I'm not interested in anyone else's imagination. I'm just like, fucking, it sounds crazy, but to me it's a little childish. Reading fantasy novels or sci-fi. If that's your hobby, fine.
We are definitely childish.
Well, Harry Potter is a biography, so that's all right.
That's fine. I read one biography. Was about an Australian guy that did time in an Indian, in an Australian prison, escaped and went to India, called Shantaram.
My favourite book of all time.
Yeah, that is.
Would be my
It's my
favourite book
book.
I've ever read.
So
I
I've
loved
ever
it.
cried in.
Yeah, loved it. And it was one of the reasons I went to the slums in Mumbai because of the effect that book had on me. So, yeah, that would probably be one of the most things. And probably biographies. Oh, shit, the two best I've probably read. Arnold's autobiography, the one he did recently, Total Recall. And I loved Mike Tyson's one. What's it called? Anyway, the last Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
That was really good. But just biographies in general.
Yeah, awesome.
Be good to know that actually. That
You got to
Mike
read
Tyson
Shantaram,
was.
man.
Yeah, I
You
know.
gotta
I have to
you
read
gotta
it. There's too many people that have said it now. I'm like, fuck, I've got to get up and about on this.
India's been the number one place on my bucket list, Tony, since 2013 when I read Shantaram, and I haven't managed to get there yet.
Got to get there, yeah.
But it's fucking great, man.
Yeah.
Tommy, you're up.
Alrighty. So, Tony, what do you like to do when you have some downtime or when you have some spare time? You still train much?
Yeah, every
Still
morning.
get to the gym? Yeah, every morning. Yep.
Yeah, pretty much 7 days a week.
Yep.
I've just had a hip replacement 4 weeks ago, so that
Yes.
slowed me up. But generally, I train 7 days a week. I absolutely love it. I stay in really good shape for my age, for any age, really. That's my sanity. But it's not a hobby because I work in a gym, so it's not like you need something outside of work. So things I do outside of here, I love to just chill out and have a cigar.
Yeah.
I love riding motorcycles. I've got a couple of choppers and some really cool bikes.
Yeah, I want to see those.
And a bunch
Definitely.
I'll show you in a minute. But getting out and having a ride is probably that's my sort of happy place.
Yeah.
And just getting out of the gym and just doing some cool stuff, and of course travel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which has become kind of my life. But I always make sure I do some cool shit while I travel. So they're probably the three things.
In terms of like a role model, like who was someone you looked up to as a kid, or maybe someone now you look up to, apart from Schwarzenegger?
Well, it's a hard one because he's always been my idol, and,
Yes.
and now he's my mentor and still is. So
That is
there's
insane.
probably different people to look up to for different reasons. And I like parts of people's life, but I might not like the person they are, but I like what they've achieved. So I don't really have a go-to person like that.
Okay.
It's, yeah.
Do you have so? What about what about someone that you like what they've achieved? Like, who would that be?
What's that?
So you said that you like certain things that people have achieved, but you may not look up to them as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who would be some of those people? I guess.
Well, I think anyone who's built something out of nothing. You look at some of the really successful people, whether it's Trump or Steve Jobs or these people that just had this incredible sort of vision and just followed it through. There's a guy who started out as a chopper builder in the States called Jesse James, who I've just think he's been a genius with branding and some that sort of stuff. So, like in the chopper world, there's some people, and in the gym industry, there's some people, and there's some, in acting and movies, obviously Arnold and Stallone and these guys who just created something out of nothing. But there's not a single person really. I follow. If you look at my Instagram, I follow all kinds of. It's bipolar.
Yeah.
Like my musical tastes. Yeah.
I'm very bipolar in a general sense. And finally, mate, if you could invite 3 people to dinner, dead or alive, who would they be?
I'm glad you gave me fair notice on this.
Yeah.
It's hard to get it down to 3.
Yes.
Right, but my first one, the first jump to, without hesitation, is Johnny Cash.
Oh, good one.
In his heyday, when he was flying.
When he was killing it.
Yeah, just Johnny Cash. I've always been fascinated with him.
Have you been to the Johnny Cash Museum in Nashville? Oh, it's good.
I've not been to Nashville.
It is good.
But I'm sure I will. And it's probably, if I had another musician there, or if Johnny couldn't make it, it'd be Tom Waits.
Oh, yeah.
Like when people talk about the soundtrack of your life, mine's Tom Waits. I bought his first album when I was 15, and I've listened to him every single day, I think, of my life since.
Yeah.
I just kind of get it. His darkness kind of provides me with light, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Tom Waits isn't an artist that a lot of people recognise, though, isn't it?
Tom was huh?
Yeah.
Okay, well, a lot of people have covered his songs, but if you look at his biography, he's done a ton of stuff. He's got that gravelly voice, but he's just got this story of working class people and destitute people and down and out people, and I kind of rise from that, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well,
So-
actually, I only found out Tom Waits when I figured that Heath Ledger's Joker voice was based on Tom Waits'
interview.
voice.
It was based on
Yes,
an
it
interview
was.
he did in Australia.
Yes.
When he came here in 1976, I think it was, and he performed at Dallas Brooks. So I know everything about Tom Waits.
Right.
A little bit freaky, but that
Great
Heath
pianist.
Ledger based the Joker's persona and voice on that Tom Waits interview.
Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It
I mean,
is.
that's a
And
really
I mean,
strange
what a
interview
role
as well,
that I'm not a superhero Batman freak, but Heath Ledger in that role was one of the most moving. Just wow, you just watch
Absolutely.
it over and over.
Perfect.
Perfect. So back to the guest.
Yes.
So if we could have an extra one, it'd be Tom Waits sitting next to Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Ernest Hemingway.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where the Cuba connection. I went to Hemingway's house. I went to Cuba to find the La Floridita bar because my favourite drink is a Hemingway daiquiri. And the story was that Hemingway was an alcoholic, and he worked his way through this daiquiri list, and he got to number 3, and he said, "Can you make that without sugar because I'm a diabetic?" And he'd drink 6 a day when he wasn't having a drink, and when he'd really have a drink, he'd drink bucket loads of them, and he'd go home and he'd stand up and type. And he wrote most of his novels when he was blind drunk on these daiquiris, standing up. And it's one of the only things in Havana that's been kept in its original form. Everything's a fucking mess there. It's actually third world. It's terrible, the state of the country. And you think, I wanted to get there before the Americans went and fucked it up. And then I got there and go, it's going to take them years. It's really
good.
that bad.
Yeah,
Potholes and run-down buildings. But Hemingway's house, because he exiled there for like 20, 30 years, and his house has been kept like a museum, and you don't go in, but they open all the windows, and you can look in all the windows. And there's his typewriter where he stood, and he was this manic guy who wrote his weight down every day on the bathroom wall, and there's his scales and all these texture weights and dates all over the walls, and the heads of the animals he'd go and hunt on safari, he'd bring back from the darkest of Africa, and the bottles of rum that he was drinking at the time. There's like 5 different bottles of white rum, and it was just amazing. And then the pool, which is empty, but they've got the bathhouse, and then all the guests that went to Cuba to go drink with Hemingway over the years, some of the famous old movie stars of the 30s and 40s. It was just mind-boggling. So Ernest Hemingway would be there.
That'd be great.
And then there'd have to be one political figure, one controversial political figure.
Yeah.
And probably rile too many people up if I said Adolf. So let's go.
He's our biggest. Yep.
Yeah.
Everyone says
dinner
him.
guest. Huh? He's the biggest dinner guest we have.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
People just want to pick his brain.
I'd just like to see his madness.
Yeah.
His clarity and his madness and all the rest of it. And if I had to alter, if he wasn't available, you said, no, that's just too not PC.
He's got a heap on.
It'd be William Churchill.
Yes.
You know, and I know he'd enjoy a cigar, and he changed the course of the world because he stood up to Hitler and he had the balls not to quit. And I always use one of his speeches at the end of my Relentless Momentum talks. We made this famous thing. We said, "Just don't quit. Just don't quit. Just don't quit." You know, and it changed the course of all of our lives because he didn't give 1 inch of ground to the Nazis where France did, and he said no. There's a fantastic book by Boris Johnson on William Churchill. You know Boris Johnson, who nearly became Prime Minister. He was the Mayor of London.
Yeah.
He looks like Trump. He's got that weird haircut.
Well, isn't it insane to think of someone like Churchill? Like we'd all be
Arnold
we'd
told
sitting
me
here
this is
speaking
called
German.
the Churchill factor.
Okay, yeah.
And Arnold actually recommended it to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely speak German right now.
Yeah, so there's my dinner table. So we'll sort of stretch it out to 5.
Yeah,
I don't know how Churchill and Hitler would get on, but if it was one of the two, that'd be fine. Johnny Cash or Tom Waits and Ernest Hemingway is a definite.
Beautiful. I love it.
Awesome.
And finally, mate, anything you want to plug, your social medias, things like that, now's the time to give it a crack.
Snapchat and Instagram, it's Tony Doherty Oz, as in Tony Doherty, all one word with OZ on the end. Facebook, you can just find me because you see my muscular picture, rugged handsomeness. Arnold Classic next year is the 16th, 17th and 18th of March here in Melbourne. It's going to be, we didn't even get to talk about that, but it's going to be the biggest multi-sport festival Australia's ever seen. And it's gone from being like a classic and a fitness show now to a multi-sport festival where we've got more sports in the Olympic Games and a whole kids expo, and it could be 80,000 people getting through the doors this year. So that's just grown into an absolute monster. And of course, Arnold will be there. And lots of events around that. So you can just go to arnoldclassic.com.au, check it out. Doherty's gyms were always open in every location. We've got some interstate ones opening in the next few months, which we'll announce soon. And just come and experience it for yourselves and check it out. And most of all, if you follow me on social or send me these messages or something and you see me, please come and say hi, because I get people who get intimidated and then they message me later and go, "I saw you in the gym today, I followed you for years." And, I sort of chickened out. I'm like, fuck, man. I'm the most approachable. I look like maybe a little like a intimidating, but I'm actually a very personable person. I love meeting my followers and fans and people that help to build my brand and success. So if you're one of those guys or girls, just come up. I'll give you a hug, believe it or not. And thank you for your encouragement and the people that do message, because I do this daily thing called Real Talk on Snapchat, and I just give it to people and make them maybe challenge the way they think a little bit. And the feedback I get is phenomenal. And to be able to, I won't say change people's lives, say impact on people's lives and teach them a way of thinking, a way of self-belief that they may not have been exposed to, for me is the greatest privilege at all. So to all those people, thank you for your encouragement and messages. I try and get back to every one of you I can. And to you guys, thanks for coming. It's been a really fun podcast.
I fucking loved it.
I'd love to come back on again sometime, because as you can talk and talk and talk.
Yeah, it's good. Well, I want to pick your brain about the Arnold stuff.
There's a bunch of stuff we haven't covered. And travelling with Arnold could be a whole another segment.
I'm down for a regular podcast. This has been great.
So get me back. If you guys come up here, I'm always available.
We'll do a session next time we're up here.
Yeah, I'd be keen.
That.
I'd be very keen.
I'll take you through a little workout, perhaps.
So it's going to hurt. It'll be good. I like it.
All right. Well, Tony, thanks, mate. Thanks for coming on the show.
Legend.
Thanks, and thanks for the song at the start. That was pretty fucked up. All right, I'm out.
All righty, that's a wrap.
Alrighty, guys. We really hope to enjoy that show. And by really hoped, I mean, I know you enjoyed that show, but you enjoyed it. You enjoyed it. Guys, if you really like what we do, even if you don't like what we do, leave us a review. And I know that rhymes and I have to take a poo. Everybody here, and I want to do it with you. Okay. Because, look, the funniest thing about the review is that it comes directly from you and we get to read it straight off the bat. I fucking love our reviews, guys. Some of them are 5 stars. Most of them are 5 stars. I think there's one
Don't
1
give
star.
us a 4 star.
Yeah, don't give us a 4 star. That just sucks.
One of my friends gave us a 4 star, actually.
Did he?
No,
What?
she.
Why?
She.
What was the fight?
It was Layla, and she said, I was telling her about...
What a slut.
That's so
That's
bad.
harsh. I don't even know Layla. I'm sure she's a lovely lady. I'm sorry, Layla.
She's an adventure fitter too. She's an absolute champion.
Oh, no.
But,
sorry, Layla. I love you.
We love our clients.
We do.
No, but Layla's a champion. I was telling her about the technical difficulties we had with one of the shows. And then she loved the show, but she gave us 4 stars, she said, because I told her about the technical difficulties that we'd had. I'm like, yeah, but I told you, but you didn't know.
Yeah,
you didn't listen to
already...
the actual... She's like, yeah, but I knew because he told me in the back end. I'm like,
you don't give it...
you give me 4
Come
stars
on,
for
Layla.
that.
I mean, I love you to bits, but Jeez.
I think we got maybe a 2-star win for talking over people back in the day.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I think we got a 2-star for that.
Yes.
Or maybe we did. Maybe
we used to be
maybe
way
only 4.
worse. Even though, ironically, we just spoke over each other there.
Yeah.
Guys, so leave us a rating review. Jump onto iTunes, guys. That is how you will do it. You can leave us a rating review there. Subscribe to the podcast. We are brought to you, as we have mentioned, by Audible. Head to www.audibletrial.com/ADVF radio to get your free monthly credit. And you subscribe. What else, Bill? What else?
Creative.
Yes, Quash Creative, our big man, Shorty Marsh. Head to www.quashcreative.com.au. Mention Adventure Fit Radio, and he will give you a free basic SEO report or feedback on your existing brand or website. And finally, guys, lots to say about Adventure Fit Travel. Bill's going to do us the deed here. Go!
Head to www.adventurefittravel.com, guys, and use the code word radio for 10% off. We've got amazing, life-changing trips coming up. We've also got awesome options if you're an affiliate owner and you want to travel the world for free and get lots of money to pour back into your gym, but we'll be announcing more about that soon. You'll probably hear if you're an affiliate owner. But lots going on at Adventure Fit Travel. Check it out on the website. If you're ready for a holiday and you want to do it in the coolest places with the coolest people, then do it with us. Also, lastly, if you anything from this show that you wanted, that you didn't, that you want to check up on, then you can head to our show notes. Everything will be linked in there. So anything that Tony mentioned, anything that me and Tommy might have mentioned, it'll be in there at www.adventuretravel.com/radio.
Alrighty, guys, until next week, bye for now.
Discovery Roger, go for deploy.